one day because I was muted on the last live. So I am thankfully unmuted. And it's a hilarious consequence of being just one today. Usually I have a guest here with me, but today it's just me. And I thought that that would work well, but I'm questioning that decision now. um, but here we are. So I thought it would work because it would give me a chance to just kind of lock in for a few moments about why this work of interspirituality matters right now. As we all know, we are living through a lot: political instability and war, climate crisis, economic pressure. Um, Many of us are tired and overwhelmed. Some of us report that we're lonely, feeling forgotten, and all of us are trying to make sense of what's going on while still tending to our families. Some of us are caring for loved ones. And of course, there's always emails and notifications buzzing, and just figuring out how to remain a decent human being, how to not become problematic, how to not get caught up in it all and lose ourselves. And there's a word for this that I learned from my dear friend, Kristen Wilson. And that word is polycrisis. It sounds very academic, but really it just means that there's a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of hard times, whole bunch of difficulty and real challenges that are happening at the same time. And all of it is connected. And I think that that raises a spiritual question. Not just what do I believe, but who am I becoming in response to what's happening right now? How do I stay open hearted? How do I become wholehearted without becoming completely overwhelmed? How do I stay informed? How do I live with people who are different from me? How do I become useful? How do I care about the suffering that I'm noticing and seeing around me, hearing about, without collapsing under the weight of it all? And that question, how do I become useful in a time like this? That one really matters to me because we need to become useful to one another. In times where there's a lot of instability and questions, we need to become useful to our neighbors, useful to our families, of course, useful in our communities. And maybe in whatever ways is ours to contribute, we might be even be useful to the world. That's one of the reasons that I believe interspirituality matters so much right now. When I'm talking about interspirituality, I mean the way that One Spirit does it. It's not just talking about a lot of religions, knowing a little bit about the religions of the world. Um, it's not pretending that all the traditions are the same. That's not oneness. What interests me is what happens when people from different traditions with different ideas and identities have ways of understanding life, and they actually learn how to be in relationship with one another, how to be in relationship. And we don't assume that just because we want to be that we know how to be. It's time to really slow it down and be in a conversation that produces results, not just excitement or emotions. How do we disagree without turning each other into enemies? And all of us, no matter what side of the issue we're on, we need to think about this. Because when we're only talking to people who agree with us, we can be certain almost all the time that it probably indicates a lack of openness to the other side, whatever we consider that other side to be. Colleague Reverend Kendra Frazier talks about polarities. And at first I was thinking about polarities in terms of how we get rid of them. Well, one day we'll be able to move past conflict and into a larger sense of oneness so deep that polarities won't matter. Well, what are we going to do until we get there? How are we going to handle our relationships today, especially the ones that are in trouble? especially when we're tense, especially when money is tight. And so this is where it gets real. And at One Spirit, I think we're becoming clearer and clearer that our interspiritual education has to be connected to solidarity, to peace building, and of course, intersectionality. So we're not trying to save everybody. And we're obviously not trying to make ourselves the center of attention. We're learning how to stand with people with dignity and care. How do we tell the truth without losing our humanity? How do we remember that none of us is just one thing, especially the part that we can see? We come into every room carrying our family history, our sexuality, our nationality, our abilities, our faith, our doubts, our griefs, our privileges and wounds and hopes. And all of that shapes how we experience the world. So if we want to care for people well, we have to be willing to see the whole person. And of course, that's spiritual work too. And this is also why I want to say clearly who we're interested in meeting here at One Spirit. We're looking for the innovators, religious people and spiritual people, and atheists and agnostics. We're looking for people who are unlabeled spiritually, and you're perfectly happy about that. People who are deeply rooted in a tradition, or maybe they're living between the tradition. People who are still asking, I don't actually know what I believe yet. And you don't have to arrive here with your spiritual identity, your label polished and intact. And in fact, we're probably more interested in whether you're willing to ask some good questions. Are you curious? Are you open? Are you willing to examine yourself, to grapple with what you think you know about the positions and the reasons that you've held those positions? Not because we're challenging you, but because if we're going to be of service to more than just those who look like us, sound like us, live like us, we're going to have to be open hearted. And that's a skill that we're being drawn out into the open to do that sometimes publicly. Sometimes our transformation, our ministry is in our families for our neighborhoods, for the schools that our family members attend, for the communities that our elders are living in, wherever our habitat is, for the other living beings around us, for the habitats that they're living in that we're sharing together. So is there something in you that wants your inner life to become more useful in the way you live? Are you willing to learn from someone whose life may look nothing like yours, who may even be a different species from you? And maybe your art is what needs to change or transform to respond to these times. Maybe it's your science, maybe it's your philosophy, whatever it is. You do not have to want to become clergy. And I think this is an important point when people think about seminary. It's traditionally for people who want to become clergy, but we're going beyond the pulpit. That may be your path into clergy, but it's probably asking a question that sounds like, what's my life asking of me right now? And that brings me to a couple of things that are happening in One Spirit this month. We've been doing these interspiritual dialogues as info sessions, and we're changing it up a little bit. There's still going to be places where you can get your questions answered about the programs and how they work and meet some of the staff and faculty behind the programs. But also, we're wanting to be in conversation in different ways to explore some particular topics that may be brewing in the hearts and minds of our prospective students. And so we'll be taking a look at two interesting topics. The first one, which is happening this Saturday, is a lecture with, I'm in dialogue and conversation with Reverend Dr. Courtney Bryant. And we're going to be talking about how you discern how you want to respond to these times, how you discern your call, how do you discern that feeling of being drawn out into service Some might feel it like a longing or like an inability to let an idea go, or you're thinking about a condition of people, a condition that people are dealing with. You're thinking about a group of people and what they might be suffering within, the conditions that they're living in, and you just can't shake it. Something in you wants to do something about it. Maybe it's a group of people that are close to you, they may be far away. What's really happening though is that something is coming alive, something is stirring, and we want to nurture that. We want you to know that you're not alone, and we hope that the conversations that we're planning really do serve the folks, whether you come to One Spirit or not, whether now is your time or not. Some folks, especially some folks that graduated in the last class, say that they were circling One Spirit 1 year, 2 years, 10 years before they came on through these doors. And so this conversation isn't just for people who know that it's their time, it's for people who are wondering, who are questioning, who feel something stirring within them. And Google searches aren't quite enough to get you to the discernment, the space of discernment that really gives you the contemplative space to come to a direction, to come to your North Star for this season. And so I want to invite you to participate, whether you can do it live or you catch the recording. These conversations are soul stirring. We'll be talking about how to discern a call this Saturday. And 2 weeks from Saturday, we'll be talking about the dark night of the soul. Is it torture? Is it transformation? Is it something else? The dark night of the soul has been written about and studied and talked about in movies and television shows, radio programs, talking about the dark night of the soul, what it feels like to have something that isn't quite resolved. But not only that, it has other symptoms, it has other signs, and we want to talk more about that. And how can you tell the difference? Sometimes, though, it's not about getting to the answer as much as it is asking powerful questions and sitting with them, just being present to yourself and taking the time to really hear what's happening in your heart. Maybe you've already graduated and you're still stirring. Something says, I want to take this to the next level. I want to get the next bit of training under my belt. I want to serve this community. And so many of us are One Spirit are committed, lifelong learners. And you're welcome. Welcome to come back through the doors and go on another journey, extend the journey into another pathway. As you know, we have four that are online now, and more information can be found out at onespirit.org. That's numeral one, spirit.org. And so I wanted to make sure that we extended the invitation so that you can really have the space and time and the experience of the classroom that we discuss in the discernment calls. So many people want to know, what is the classroom experience like? And you'll get a taste of that on Saturday. So maybe even if you've been admitted, this is another experience of your staff and your faculty coming together in that kaleidoscope model to present ideas and to be in dialogue and conversation with you. We're interested in the folks who don't have neat answers and maybe even have some really raw questions. And we love the questions that have a jagged edge because that's where we are right now. Many of us are feeling that it's not smooth sailing, that um, throughout the day we're experiencing distractions that some are pleasant, but many of them are annoying at best or troubling in some way. And over time, that feeling of being run down builds up. It becomes harder and harder to give freely. And sometimes you just need a tune up from being in community with folks, being a part of a vibration that feels holistic and inclusive. And we want to invite you to these conversations, to these events, just to feel the vibes. even if seminary isn't necessarily for you. Maybe you're looking for a spiritual community, and our programs and offerings might be a part of that tapestry of spiritual community that you're weaving for yourself. Whatever it is that we might be able to, whatever part of your journey where we might be able to join you on at this part in your life, I hope you will consider some of what you see at onespirit.org. And feel free to reach out to me personally. I'd love to hear from you. My email address is revaliyah. My name is on the screen. Revaliyah at onespirit.org. And there are plenty of folks who can receive you and will support you in this time of navigating. And I look forward to seeing you at a future event, August 15th and August 29th, the two-part lecture series that we're in conversation with, hoping to illuminate this path a little brighter for those of us who are dealing with polycrisis and also wondering, how in the world am I going to pay for this? These are the conversations that we're planning to have in the very near future. We're looking forward to inviting you back next week to join us. I'll be in conversation with another One Spirit grad talking about their ministry and their life of service. I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much for your attention and for the second chance today. You're two for two. Go team. Before I leave, I just want to say one more thing as as I have noted, many challenges and difficulties that are commonly shared, commonly felt. I also want to share a blessing that I hope can be comforting and maybe um, bring you a sense of really being cared for tonight. So, right where you are in this moment, whatever's happening, whatever news you might have received, or maybe your phone was really dry today. Whether you were pulled in every direction or you were wondering, does anyone remember I'm here? Or maybe you were somewhere in between, just busy enough to feel like you can't quite catch your breath. Maybe there's a headache or some other part of your body in pain, something that's not quite working right. Maybe there's difficulty in your finances or whatever you might be going through, wherever you find yourself. Maybe you've had a wonderful day and everything has gone just as you'd hoped and you're about ready to celebrate something wonderful. Maybe you've been bored out of your mind today. Wherever you find yourself, I send solidarity, peace, hope, and love from my mind and heart to yours. I stand and sit in solidarity with you without knowing who you are, without knowing where you are. I know that you belong here. And so I'm grateful that we're breathing the same air. I'm grateful that we have another chance to connect with the invisible, to connect across differences, to let our love light shine beyond the cliche in real moments, that we could be present with ourselves and present with each other, present in nature and present with the other beings that are alive here with us now. I can hear the birds in the background and the crickets are just starting to kick up their song. It's beautiful to know that we're not alone here. And whatever is next for you in your day or your evening, my hope for you is that it's filled with some comfort, that there's a little fun and delight there for you, that whatever the next part of your day holds, that you know that you belong, that there's a sensation of dignity and respect for yourself that runs up your spine, that keeps your back a little straight, maybe even puts a smile on your face. And if you're worried or concerned, I pray that you're able to turn to your source of healing. Maybe it's nature. Maybe it's watching the sunset or the sunrise. Maybe it's being in conversation. Maybe it's just listening deeply or being quiet. Maybe, like me, you need to put on some good music and dance it off. whatever it is that you need, I know that love supplies all needs, and that's my source of healing. So I extend that love from my heart and my mind to yours and trust that not just you, but all the folks around the world who may feel lonely right now, forgotten, in pain. Maybe it's psychological or emotional or physical pain. Maybe it's financial stress. Whatever is happening, I pray this love reaches you. And I know this one thing: love knows what to do to ease your burden, to soothe your mind, and to bless you. And I pray that you find yourself profoundly blessed. And may it be simple and sweet, uncomplicated and easy for you to receive. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. Blessings.